The World Drug Report for 2011 launched on Thursday at UN headquarters by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, UNODC Executive Director Yuri Fedotov, and General Assembly President Joseph Dice, among other leaders and experts, reveals that while global markets for cocaine, heroin, and cannabis have declined or remained stable, the production and abuse of prescription opioid drugs and new synthetic drugs have risen, noting that some 210 million people, or 4.8% of the global population aged between 15 and 64 took illicit substances at least once last year.
Traffickers break more than the law. They break the human spirit. They fuel terrorism and insurgency. They rob societies of peace. The toll on young people and children is especially heartbreaking. When their parents take drugs, they are more likely to use the drugs themselves. That exposes them to mental health disorders, crime, and violence.
People all over the globe are suffering and dying from using illicit drugs. Their drug use also harms their children, their families, and communities. Meanwhile, drug trafficking is fueling a global criminal enterprise worth hundreds of billions of dollars that wreaking havoc on communities and undermining development and security in many countries in the world.
Even though the UN report indicates a significant reduction in global opium production last year as a result of disease in opium poppy plants in Afghanistan, yet overall manufacturing of heroin and cocaine was still significant. Moreover, the strong decline in potential cocaine manufacturing, reflecting from falling cocaine production in Colombia, has been offset by increases in Peru and Bolivia. The annual report also shows that Ukraine, Iceland, and Ireland experience some of the highest mortality rates in Europe, with over 100 drug-related deaths per million inhabitants aged between 15 and 64. Experts noted that a key challenge remains of finding a long-term sustainable solution and treatment for those who need it most, mainly drug addicts.
I think it's very important to have an integral, holistic perspective on all the issue of drugs. It's not only the responsibility of one state to fight in this field, but it shows very clearly the need of international cooperation. Mexico is in favor of giving a high profile to the fight against the drugs, but at the same time calling all states to have the responsibilities. The traditional distinction between producer or countries in transit or consumer has changed, because many of our countries have the three qualities in certain sense. So international cooperation is at the center in the fight against drugs.
In response to the report's findings, several experts along with UN ambassadors noted the danger caused by drug networks involved in drug trafficking, thereby threatening international security. Mr. Fedotov stressed the principle of shared responsibility and the need to build national, regional, and international efforts in a comprehensive strategy on the cultivation, production, and trafficking of drugs. Afaf Kanja for South South News, United Nations.